Welcome to E-Pathshala. I am S G Kumar, ex-University Librarian and Head of the Department of Library Science, RTM Nagpur University, Nagpur. The subject of this talk is public libraries, and this module deals with Library Acts enacted between 1948 and 1960s. The first effort was made for enactment of library legislation in the state of Madras. Madras in 1919 introduced a Reform Act whereby they wanted the public to participate directly in the running of public libraries, public health, local self-governments, and so on. The result is that they have established what is called the Madras Municipal Act in 1919. According to this act, the municipalities can spend a certain amount of money for establishment and maintenance of public libraries in the state. In 1919, as a result of this, many of the municipalities and panchayats started establishing libraries for the benefit of the citizens of their particular region. In 1920, Deshabhakta Konda Venkatapaya introduced a bill in Madras legislature. With the result, the government has come forward to spend 20,000 rupees for the establishment and maintenance of public libraries by the local bodies. Coming to the enactment of library legislation, Dr. Ranganathan, who visited United Kingdom in 1924, saw the establishment of public libraries and the role the public libraries are playing in spread of knowledge and information among the citizens of the country. He also visualized that India should have a similar system of public libraries whereby people will get to know what is going on in the country and contribute their might for the development of the nation. After coming back to India, Dr. Ranganathan drafted a library bill and introduced it for discussion at the All Asia Educational Conference that was held in 1930 at Varanasi. The bill was appreciated by many of the people, librarians as well as non-librarians. Dr. Munindra Dev Rai Mahasay, who was a member of Bengal legislature, a Maharaja of a princely state, took a copy of the bill and tried to introduce it in Bengal legislature. He also discussed and made certain modifications suitable to the needs of Bengal. When he introduced the bill, unfortunately it could not get the support from the government. The governor did not approve for passing of the bill. Then coming back to Madras, Ranganathan redrafted the bill and took the help of one Mr. Bashir Ahmad Syed and tried to introduce it in the Madras legislature. The bill was introduced in Madras Assembly on 10th November 1933. Without much discussion, the bill was referred to a select committee of 37 members. The select committee presented its report in 1934, but no further action has been taken on this bill. Vavilala Gopalakrishnaya, a social worker, again tried to introduce a draft bill in 1938. The Madras Library Association once again tried to introduce the bill through Bashir Ahmad Syed in 1939. Lord Erskine, the then governor of Madras state, was reluctant to accept the bill because he thought it is not going to bring out the desired results in its present form. However, with the persuasion of Krishnaswamy Iyengar, Dr. S. R. Ranganathan, Bashir Ahmad Saeed, and Rajagopalachari, when they met, the governor has agreed to consider the bill, but nothing happened thereafter. Again, it was Ranganathan who pursued the matter further, and in 1947 he approached the then Education Minister Avinashalingam Chettiar, and who happens to be a student of Madras University and closely associated with Ranganathan. One fine morning he went to him and introduced the bill to him and requested him to see that the bill becomes an act during his tenure as Education Minister. Finally, with the support and initiative of Avinashalingam Chettiar, the bill was introduced in January 1948, and it has been accepted by the legislature, and thus Madras state happens to be the first state in India to have enacted library legislation. The Madras Public Library Act has passed by the legislature in 1948, and it has got the assent of the governor on 29th January 1949. It was implemented from the year 1950. Looking to the implementation of the Act, the Andhra Desha Library Association organized a seminar in the year 1952 to discuss the implementation of the Act and to discuss in detail about the various provisions of the Act. And the recommendations of the conference were sent to the government for consideration. Thus, Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to enact a library legislation in the year 1948. Though the Department of Public Libraries was created, it was a part of the Education Department, and the Director of Education was the overall in charge of the public library system in the state. According to this particular act, they have created a state library system with State Central Library at the apex of the system and local library authorities at various district levels. In the city of Madras, there is a City Central Library and City Library system which caters to the special needs of the city. Thus, there is an apex body at the state level, the State Central Library. The Connemara Public Library, which was a government library, was declared as the State Central Library, and then we have the City Central Library in Chennai, and then we have district libraries or local library authorities in various districts. The local library authorities are responsible for maintenance of public libraries within the district. Panchayat and municipal libraries come under the purview of the local library authorities. In addition to the public libraries, mobile library services were introduced by the various library systems in the state. It was in the year 1972 that a post of Director of Public Libraries has been created, who was made in charge of running the libraries within the state. There are centralized services run by the State Central Library and also the various related services by the District Central Libraries. District Central Libraries, village libraries, municipal libraries are forming a network of public libraries in the state of Tamil Nadu. The organizational structure of public library system in Tamil Nadu consists of Department of Education, which is the overall in charge of the public library services. We had a state library committee which advises the government with regard to the implementation of library services. There is the Director of Public Libraries, who is the administrative head of public libraries in the state. We have the district central libraries or local library authorities, and these include circle libraries, branch libraries, mobile libraries, and part-time libraries. Some of these authorities, particularly the city central library and the local library authorities, are also providing library service through mobile library systems. The states in Indian Union have been reorganized under the Reorganization Act of 1956. During the states reorganization, the Hyderabad state, which was divided into three different regions, the Telangana region, the Karnataka Telangana region, and the Hyderabad region in the Marathwada. The Marathwada region has gone to Maharashtra state. The Telangana region has come to Andhra Pradesh, and the remaining part has gone to Karnataka. When the states were reorganized, the Telangana region is having the sway of Hyderabad Public Libraries Act, whereas 12 districts in Andhra region has the sway of Madras Public Libraries Act. So this continued for a few years. Then it was realized that the composite state of Andhra Pradesh should have a comprehensive library act of its own, and it was decided to amalgamate these two acts and formulate a new act. And finally, it was in the year 1960, a new Andhra Pradesh Public Library Act was passed by the state legislature, incorporating the 9 districts of Telangana region and 12 districts of Andhra region to come under one umbrella in the organization of public library services. Salient features of the new Andhra Pradesh Public Libraries Act of 1960 are: Constitution of Andhra Pradesh Granthalaya Parishad as an apex body with statutory powers and functions. Constitution of a Directorate of Public Libraries to direct, supervise, and control the public library system. Constitution of city or Jilla Granthalaya Samsthas through nominated chairmen and members by the government. Library of the city district central libraries are the ex officio secretaries of the city Granthalaya Samstha and Jilla Granthalaya Samsthas. Collection of 8 paise on the property tax is in the form of a cess that is being levied by the local bodies, and the amount so collected has to be deposited with the concerned local library authority. This forms the corpus of the public library fund of the districts as well as the state. The state government, in addition, used to give matching grants, and most of the funds cess that is collected by the local bodies, that is being used for the salaries of the staff. When the government realized that the funds that are being collected through cess are not sufficient for purchase of books and periodicals, furniture and equipment, they decided to provincialize the services of the employees that are working under the public library system, and they started meeting the bill of payment of salaries of the employees. The amount that so collected through the cess was exclusively used for purchase of books and periodicals and furniture and equipment. Even this was found to be insufficient. Further to this, most of the local self-governments, that is municipalities and panchayats, though they are collecting the cess, they are not regularly depositing the money with the local library authority or Jilla Granthalaya Samsthas. As a result of which, the crunch for the funds still remains in the public library system. The organizational structure of the public library system in Andhra Pradesh consisted of Government of Andhra Pradesh Granthalaya Parishad, which is an apex and advisory body, and Department of Public Libraries, who is headed by a person from the Education Department or a librarian. Then we have the State Central Library, headed by a qualified librarian, and we have government libraries like regional libraries and mobile libraries, which are run by the Granthalaya Parishad. We have at the district level City Granthalaya Samstha or Jilla Granthalaya Samsthas, which also run the city central library as well as district central libraries. There are also branch libraries, mobile libraries, village libraries as well as book deposit centers, where collection of books are sent in boxes periodically and rotated among the various villages. There are also aided libraries. These are the private libraries for which the government comes forward to give funds for their maintenance, and though the amount is meager, it also helps in a small way for maintenance of private libraries within the state. The next state to enact library legislation was the Karnataka state. Earlier it was known as Mysore state. The Mysore state consisted of Bombay Karnataka area, Mysore area, Hyderabad Karnataka area, and Madras Karnataka area. All these areas have come under the state of Mysore. Mysore also wanted to enact a library legislation, and it was in the year 1958 the newly formed Mysore Library Association organized a seminar and stressed on the need for library legislation in the state. Vaikunta Baliga, who presided over the conference, has assured his support for enactment of library legislation in the Mysore state. He, being the Speaker of the Assembly, took keen interest for introduction of the bill in Karnataka legislature. And finally, the bill was introduced in 1965 and the act was enacted on 22nd April 1965. Thus, Karnataka is the third state in South India to have library legislation. Salient features of the Karnataka Library Act are: a state library authority has to be formed as a corporate body with minister in charge of education as chairman. The members are drawn from different segments of the society. Provision for creating an independent department of public libraries is another important feature of the Act. The state librarian, who is supposed to be a qualified person, will be head of the public library system. Provision for the establishment of State Central Library as an apex body of the public library system is like any other state in the country. Constitution of local library authorities for cities and districts, provision of setting up of an advisory committees for branch and village library services is a novel feature of this particular act. Provision for centralized technical processing is another noteworthy feature of the Karnataka Public Libraries Act. There is a provision for centralized units like copyright collection of the state, state library for the blind, state bibliographical bureau, etc. Provision of levy of library cess has been widened in the Karnataka Public Libraries Act. Earlier, it was only on the property tax that the cess was levied in the states of Madras and Andhra Pradesh. Here, the Karnataka government has extended the sway. There is a provision to contribute 3% of the budget of the public libraries by the government, as well as to levy the cess on vehicle tax and octroi and a number of other items which has increased the revenue of public libraries extensively in the state. Thus, the financial position of Karnataka Public Libraries is better than many of the states that has followed suit and that have been enacted earlier. Creation of a state level service. The employees of the state library system were regarded as employees of the state government, and all benefits that goes to the state employees are also extended to the public library servants. The organizational structure of public library system in Karnataka consists of Government of Karnataka as the head, Department of Public Libraries, which has a state central library, Public Technical Library. This is another important feature of this particular act, which no other act has made such provision. And Library Training School has been established, which some of the acts have followed later on. Administrative wing, and there is an aided libraries section which helps the private public libraries by way of grants, etc. The District Library Authority consists of District Central Library, branch libraries, book deposit centers, and mobile libraries. The City's Library Authority in Bangalore consists of City Central Library, various branch libraries, service stations, and mobile libraries. Mysore Public Library Act, which was enacted in 1965, has been changed its nomenclature in 1973 as the Karnataka Public Libraries Act, as the name of the state itself has been changed. The next state to enact library legislation was the Maharashtra. The Maharashtra legislature considered a draft bill prepared by Rao Saheb Bole in 1936. This particular bill that was introduced by Mr. Bole was unfortunately not considered by the legislature. However, the government appointed a committee to consider the needs of the public libraries under the chairmanship of Mr. A. Faizi in 1939. Faizi committee report is an excellent summation of the need of public library services in the state of Bombay. The Bombay state has different regions like Karnataka, Bombay, Gujarat, and Bombay, Maharashtra. And all these regions' needs with regard to public libraries were considered, and an elaborate report has been submitted by Mr. Faizi. Unfortunately, the government fell down and no action could be taken on this report. However, In 1946, one of the students of Ranganathan, Mr. R.S. Parkhi of Pune, requested Ranganathan to prepare a draft bill for the state of Maharashtra. Accordingly, Dr. Ranganathan prepared a draft bill and submitted it to Parkhi. Parkhi in turn passed it on to the then Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. B.G. Kher. Unfortunately, this has not resulted in the enactment of library legislation. Maharashtra Library Association has prepared a draft library bill in 1963, and the bill was sent to the governor and the government for consideration. But there was no effort from the state of the Maharashtra for enactment of library legislation. Finally, the government itself appointed a committee to prepare a draft library bill for the state of Maharashtra, which was finally considered and passed by legislature in the year 1967. There are certain striking features of this particular act. Constitution of State Library Council by the government is one of the important features of this particular act. Minister for Education shall be the ex officio president of the council. The council will advise the state government on all matters concerning public libraries and their administration in the state of Maharashtra. Constitution of separate Department of Public Libraries and appointment of a qualified director is another novel feature that has been introduced in the Act. Establishment of Maharashtra State Library Services and to treat all members of the staff as government services is another important feature of this particular Act. Establishment of State Central Library, Divisional Libraries, District Libraries, and library aid to private libraries are important features of this particular Act. Though it was envisaged to have a state central library, the Town Hall Public Library, which was there in Mumbai, has been declared as the state central library. But the ownership of the Town Hall Library is not agreeable to the proposal. Appointment of a district library committee for each district is made provision in the Act. The chairman of the Education Committee of the Jilla Parishad shall function in the district as ex officio president of the committee. In case the committee of the Greater Bombay, the chairman of the Education Commission of the Municipal Corporation will be ex officio president of the Committee for the Greater Mumbai. There is no library cess. This is another novel feature of this particular Act, that the Act has not made any provision for levying cess. On the other hand, the government has agreed to provide a lump sum grant of not less than 25 lakhs per year for maintenance and running of the state library services. Grant in aid to public libraries is organized by voluntary organizations. In this module, we have seen the efforts made by Madras State, the Hyderabad State, and composite Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Maharashtra. These are the 4 different acts that are in operation today in 4 different southern states of India. The Madras Library Act was passed in the year 1948. Though Hyderabad Act is not in operation, it was enacted in the year 1955, and with states reorganization in 56, the Telangana region of Nizam state, and the Andhra region of Madras state have been merged together to form Andhra Pradesh. For a composite act, a new bill was drafted and was passed in the year 1960. The composite act is called Andhra Pradesh Public Libraries Act. Karnataka state, with the efforts of the Mysore Library Association, with the support of the Mr. Vaikunta Baliga, the bill was introduced in the year 1965 in Mysore legislature, and it has been passed unanimously. The Mysore Act is ahead of other acts in terms of increasing the financial resources of the library system. Cess is being levied on motor vehicles and entry tax at the municipalities and corporations, and a number of other provisions have been made to enhance the finances of the public library system. In addition, the state government is also giving 3% grant for the public libraries. The last one is in this particular group is the Maharashtra Public Libraries Act that has been passed in the year 1967, and some of the important features are a qualified librarian is designated as the Director of Public Libraries. There is a State Library Committee which advises the state government on all library matters. There are district library committees and a committee for the Greater Bombay have been constituted, which looks after the library services in the concerned district and states. There are 4 regional libraries that have been established under the Act, and in addition to the district libraries. There is provision for inspectors. Full-time inspectors have been appointed under the Act who go inspect the public libraries and see their functioning and also make suggestions for improving the services and also assess the needs of financial support of these libraries. Thus, these are the 4 states which have enacted library legislation in South India. Thank you very much.